Alright, so we have some massive new information and leaks when it comes to PlayStation's brand new mid-gen refresh console, aka the PlayStation 5 Pro. And we also have what Xbox might do to counter this new console that might be more powerful and have better performance attached to it. Let's get into everything that's being leaked and also what Microsoft might have to do in response to this. So let's do this. Alright, so you know the drill. If you like the content, hit that subscribe button and that like button. And if you want to be notified on future videos, hit that small little bell icon. And if you want to go that extra mile to support the channel, hit that join button. All the support is greatly appreciated. Okay, so I kind of just want to jump right into these rumors because for a long time, and I mean several months, if not a year, there has been this constant rumor that the PlayStation, or Sony's PlayStation, was going to make a PS5 Pro. And I'm just going to jump into what the article is saying and what the rumors are saying. PlayStation 5 Pro rumored cost and release date. The PS5 Pro has apparently been in development since early 2022, which explains the slew of rumors we've seen circulating over the past few years. The majority of the game developers are scheduled to receive dev kits by November 2023 at the latest, Henderson reports. As for when we can expect the PlayStation 5 Pro to hit store shelves, he said this: whether or not a PlayStation 5 Pro console is desired enough in the current market remains to be seen. But as of writing, the PlayStation 5 Pro is in development and is targeting a November 2024 release date. There's still no word on when Sony will officially announce its revamped PlayStation hardware or how much it may cost. We assume the PlayStation 5 Pro will be more expensive than the base PS5, but by how much remains a big old question mark. For reference, the PlayStation 4 Pro debuted in 2016 for $399, the same price as the original PS4 at launch, which by that time had dropped to $299. Meanwhile, the base PS5 remains the same price even now, 3 years after launch, thanks in part to supply chain issues that made stock extremely hard to come by for the bulk of its life cycle thus far. So odds are the PS5 Pro, or whatever Sony ends up calling it, won't get the same price treatment as its predecessor, especially when all the improvements under the hood it's rumored to be packing. Now, this is what I have to say about all of this. For the first time in I don't know how long, I put a tweet out talking about the Series X price hike and, of course, the PlayStation price hike, which they did that first. I thought it was kind of bizarre that for the first time ever, we're seeing console generations get more expensive as time goes on. Usually when you're an early adopter to a hardware or to some type of technology, it costs you more money because you're the first one to get it and you're getting all the benefits that come with it. But you also get some of the non-benefits or cons that come with it, which is software patches that need to come out, some bugs, which they might call features. All those types of things is what you're paying to get into. But for the PlayStation 5 and the Series X, things have gone up because of supply chain issues or whatever, and so the price has gone up. I've never seen that before, 2 or 3 years into a generation. So is there a market for a PlayStation 5 Pro? Do you think people want something like this or a more powerful console to get better performance or even better fidelity? I'm not too sure, and I think Xbox has a response to this, which they've kind of talked about a little bit here and there. Now, most of these responses and all of these rumors have come out because of the legislation and all of the cases that have been happening with the ABK deal. They know that there's a PlayStation 5 Slim launching in 2023, which has been rumored for a little while now, and of course, there's also been Phil Spencer himself talking about there being no mid-gen refresh for the Xbox Series X, which I'm going to be talking about right here and what some articles are saying Xbox should do in response to this. Here's what's said by Windows Central. What will Xbox Series X and S console upgrades look like? Microsoft entered uncharted territory with the release of the Xbox Series X and S. This was the first time in console gaming that a company opted to target and ship two uniquely spec'd machines. Due to this clever and aggressive tactic, Phil Spencer confidently stated, "We won't be beaten on price or power at the start of this generation." Despite debates over comparative performance with specific games on the Xbox Series X versus PS5, Microsoft has largely succeeded in this regard. However, when we start factoring in potential releases of a PlayStation 5 Slim and now PS5 Pro, this messaging from Xbox becomes less guaranteed. When Xbox revealed the Xbox Series X and S and their refreshed naming convention, my mind immediately drew parallels to cell phone hardware, much like the Samsung Galaxy line Series S and Series X seemed primed for iterations. Combine this with the introduction of the Xbox All Access, which supplies players with an Xbox Series X or Xbox Series S, and of course Game Pass Ultimate for a low monthly fee spread out over 24 months, and the similarities were painfully obvious. Initially, I envisioned Xbox mirroring cell phone hardware manufacturing and rolling out X2 and S2 variants of its two console SKUs every few years. Now, unfortunately for Xbox fans who enjoy regularly shelling out hundreds of dollars on shiny new machines, it doesn't exactly sound like that's Xbox's current strategy. We are approaching year 3 of the current Xbox hardware generation, and according to recent statements from Phil Spencer to Bloomberg, Xbox is pretty set on the hardware they have. This is where I have to come in and say that I actually agree with Phil Spencer. Would I like a new console to come out? Of course. I like new hardware. I'm an early adopter. I love getting new stuff. I have a 4090 even though I had a 3090. I like getting tech because I'm lucky enough to able to keep up with it. Usually when I'm on a budget, sure, I like looking at the new tech, but I don't usually buy it. I think that for console gamers, if there was an iteration of every 3 or 4 years a new console came out, it might wane on the marketing. It might wane on the community that's in there. And not to mention, I've heard multiple people say that they would just rather buy a PC and iterate on that every few years and get more power or get more flexibility of what they want to do with that hardware. That's where consoles, I think, kind of differ. I think Xbox painted themselves in a corner. And hear me out. I know what you're thinking. What do you mean put them in a corner? What I'm saying is that bringing out 2 SKUs, the Xbox Series X and S, was a way of showing what they wanted to do for this entire generation. To me, the Series S was the primary console. It was what they wanted to get out there the most. And we saw that in sales for the first 2 years. We saw that how many times they were pushing it in the holiday season. And we saw how many more were being made. The console that sold the most is the Series S. That is their primary console. The Series X was almost kind of like their mid-gen refresh. It is extremely powerful. It's 3 teraflops above in power over the PlayStation 5. And it's an expensive piece of hardware that is very well loved. But overall, developers still haven't gotten the full juice out of both of these consoles, and developers haven't got the full juice out of the PlayStation 5 console. So these mid-gen refreshes that are coming out, I think, are not going to hit well with the consumers, especially when you haven't really done anything with the current generation or RDNA 2 and all the software that they claim still need to be utilized. This is where everything, I think, goes on top of its head. I think PlayStation bringing out 2 SKUs, the discless and the disc PS5, but have the same exact hardware, kind of benefits them because now they can go back to the drawing board and bring out a brand new console that has way more power. They still only have 2 SKUs that developers need to concentrate on. All the while, Xbox, if they bring out another console, it might turn into 3 SKUs. And then you look at their strategy that they've been doing for several years. And is it the right call for Xbox to do this? Because right now, consoles are no longer the sole focus for Xbox. I mean, we've known that for a little while now. They've kind of changed their positioning on cloud gaming. They love Xbox Game Pass. And of course, they are becoming one of the biggest PC gaming developers in the world, especially if they get ABK, which is looking like it's going to happen in the next several weeks or even in the next month. So all of this that's going on, I think Xbox looks at the consoles as, hey, we have these, they're great, it's powerful, it's good enough. And I think after getting the power narrative under their belt, they realized it didn't translate to crazy sales. It didn't translate to them beating Sony's PlayStation. Sony PlayStation is going to be focused on their console. And like Phil Spencer said in that interview a while back, we are not going to out-console PlayStation. They're just not going to do it. So why focus on that? What they're going to focus on is bringing out awesome, very particular piece of hardware like Series X and S, get it out to the masses, and then focus on the quality content that's attached to them. That's what they're going to be doing for the longest time now, because then they can put that content everywhere else, PC and cloud. They're not going to put more money into hardware testing and making things because the console right now is selling for $550. They're not going to be able to bring out anything below $600 or $700 that's more powerful in the next year and a half. It's just not going to happen with everything with the supply blockchains and everything that's going on. It's going to be massively expensive, and it's going to be a very small niche market that is going to buy those consoles. It's not going to be worth for them to keep that power narrative all because of what? Optics? What they're going to be looking at is winning in the gaming sphere. they're going to look at everywhere. They're going to look across marketing, they're going to look across games, and of course, content. Content is going to be king. And I know most people won't like me saying that or hearing that, but I don't see a mid-gen refresh happening with Xbox. And if it does happen, cool, I'll be there to report on it. I want to see what it's all about, just like I'm going to be there for the PlayStation 5 Pro because I love this stuff. That's the whole point of this. I want to see what the PlayStation 5 Pro can do, because right now that console is handling stuff pretty well, and so is the Series X. And from what we've looked at, the developers are getting what they want out of this. I know most people are like, they're not using RDNA 2 and they're not using this and that. But from what I'm looking at it, they kind of are. They're using a lot of the hardware. They're using a lot of the stuff that's on there. The only thing that's not coming out that they advertised was ray tracing, which I just don't see happening on these consoles. But hey, that's what's happening now. We'll see what's happening in the next several months and even into next year. All I know is that Xbox's response is just making more games, focusing on different avenues of revenue, aka PC, Game Pass, and cloud gaming, and of course, the consoles. But let me know what you think about this. Do you think Xbox needs to respond to PlayStation and what they are bringing out? Do you think they need a mid-gen refresh to compete with the PlayStation 5 Pro? Do you think the PS5 Pro coming out might make it more powerful than the Series X, and then that power narrative is going to shift over? Will that hurt sales, or has the power narrative never really worked no matter what when you look at history of gaming? Let me know down below because I want to hear what you think about that. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button to support us out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamer tag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So, I gotta say, I know I've been kind of MIA. A lot of things have happening at work. I've been really busy, and of course, I've been doing a lot of things that involve my life, my wife, everything. We've been very busy pushing things forward and trying to just build a life together. So YouTube, really, I just didn't have time to do anything. I barely have time to play games. Right now, I'm playing Jedi Survivor. I've been playing a bunch of other little games like Bramble on Game Pass, and mostly I've been playing on my ROG Ally because I'm not home enough to sit there and play games on my console or my PC. And I've had a little bit of a cold the last week, and that's kind of knocked me on my butt. But I gotta say, I'm glad I'm back making a video. I wanted to talk about all this stuff. I haven't done a podcast in so long, and I know people are asking me about the Zealots of Gaming. I'm honestly up in the air with it because work has been so insane and so has life. I just haven't had time to do it, and it would have been a disservice to everyone if I had just random schedule where I was doing it once a month or maybe 3 times a month, 1 month, and then the next thing is I haven't done it in 2 months. So I'm trying to figure out the schedule for that. I didn't want to keep Hargeet and Shady in the back just kind of waiting. So for now, it's not going to happen, but I think over time I can get settled in, start getting some videos out, and be more consistent on the channel because these last 2 months have been insane. And I want to thank everybody that's been DMing me and messaging me, asking me about my videos, my podcast. This support is insane, and I love every one of you for doing that and messaging me. And just so you know, I'm going to try to get in a better cadence of bringing out at least 1 video a week, if not 2, just so we can start talking about this and getting into the conversation in the comments and on Twitter. But let me know what you've been playing the last couple months. Like I said, Jedi Survivor is what I've been on. Let me know what you're playing. Are you playing something on your Xbox, your PlayStation, your PC? Or are you playing something on your Steam Deck or your ROG Ally or on your Switch? Let me know down below because that's what we're here for. It's to talk games. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.